So you're lying in bed next to the person you married and you feel absolutely alone. You love them, or at least you think you do, but something is not right. And the question you can barely bring yourself to think out loud is starting to take up all of the space in your head. Do I want to stay in this relationship? When this is the question you're asking yourself, there are typically two reasons why, and we're going to talk about both of them today because I've been exactly where you are, asking myself that same question. And later in the video, I'm going to tell you which one of these two situations I personally found myself in and what it taught me about how to actually answer this question. So stay with me. I'm Karyn, certified relationship coach, owner of A Better Relationship Coaching, and I help people who are struggling in their relationships, including when you're at this agonizing crossroads of staying or leaving, so that you can move forward confidently without the guilt, shame, or the second guessing that actually keeps you stuck in more of the same. So let's dive into those two situations you may find yourself in when you're asking yourself, should I stay or should I go? The first way that this shows up is when you find out about some kind of betrayal. This comes on very suddenly, hitting you like a freight train. You find out about a betrayal, sexual, emotional, financial, and in an instant, the ground you thought that was completely solid collapses underneath you. And you don't even know what's real anymore. And here's what makes it not just hurtful and shocking, but also very disorienting. You're not just questioning the relationship, you begin to question yourself, your ability to trust your own instincts. Because if you got this so wrong, this thing that you were so certain about, what else have you been wrong about? What else can you not trust? And before you've even had time to think about all that or a moment to breathe, at the same time you're dealing with all of the shock, the pain, the confusion, the logistics crash in. The kids, the finances, everything you share, the house, the other resources, the friends, the in laws that you actually love. And leaving starts to feel impossible, but you can't imagine staying. And either way, everything has to change. Because if you leave, everything is obviously going to change with that. But if you stay, your whole relationship has to significantly change because of such a huge rupture in the foundation of your relationship. And a lot goes into rebuilding trust. This is the first situation. And contrary to what your friends and family may be telling you, it is never cut and dry. Before I get to the second situation, tell me in the comments, does this one resonate with where you are right now? You don't have to share any details, obviously. Just say, this is me, and I'll know. I read every comment. The second situation is quieter, it's slower, and it's different because you can't point to a single moment that says, oh, this is when everything changed. So you got married in your 20s or 30s, you built a life, the kids grew up, and somewhere in the middle of all that, you grew also into someone that your younger self probably wouldn't even fully recognize. And your values shifted. What you need from a relationship has changed. Who you are has changed. And now you're looking at the relationship you chose all of those years ago and you're thinking, would I choose this again? Not because your partner did something wrong per se, but because the version of you that made the choice to be in this relationship isn't you anymore. And the person you are today doesn't quite fit inside the relationship that you built back then and over these years. And this is the slow drift. And it comes with its own particular kind of pain because it's harder to explain. And honestly, it can feel harder to justify if we're considering ending a relationship that we've had for years or decades. We feel like we need to justify it and really have a good enough reason to back it up. And in this situation, it's much harder to do that. And it often comes completely loaded with guilt and second guessing because of that. Nothing even happened. I should be grateful. I have a great life. What's wrong with me? And the answer is nothing is wrong with you. You grew, and growth changes things. The question this situation asks a little different than stay or go. It's deeper than that. is there room in this relationship for the person I've actually become? And can you show up as your whole real self in the current situation as it is, not a quieter, smaller, more manageable version of yourself that maybe you've been living as for so long? Is it safe to make that change? Does your partner see who you are now? Do they value you? Do they recognize all this? If you look around and realize you've spent years hiding parts of yourself to keep things going smoothly, and is there space for you to genuinely show up as who you are now and who you really want to be and to allow yourself to be in the future? This is the work that's really needed in order to feel confident about your next steps so you don't feel all of the guilt and second guessing that's keeping you stuck right now. If this is landing for you, please hit the like button. It helps this reach other women who are quietly sitting with this same question and don't know where to turn. So, which situation did I find myself in? The second one, the slow drift. When my husband and I started dating, I was 32 and I genuinely thought I had it together. I did not. I had a long history of unhealthy relationships. I wasn't in a good place relationally for anyone else. And honestly, I didn't really even know myself then. Over the past 16 years that we've been together, I have literally become a completely different person. But in the meantime, we had built a relationship with a lot of dysfunction quietly baked into it as the expectation of how we functioned. And I reached a point where I looked around and I thought, this doesn't work for me anymore. Not because anything blew up or there was this big moment that happened, but because I had changed and the relationship hadn't really changed with me. So I had a lot of work to do personally, and we had to do a lot of work together. That work, learning how to show up as you, confidently, clearly, stepping into your voice and your relational power, is exactly what I help people do. And what I have found is the thing that is missing from both of these situations is a connection to yourself that really helps you be able to know more clearly and confidently what your next steps really are, what's going to be best for you. If this resonates with you or sounds familiar and you're wanting help with those next steps, download my free guide, 3 questions to ask yourself if you're wondering, should I stay or should I go? Or check out my free community for women. Both of those links are in the description, and they're designed not to tell you what to do, but really to help you reconnect with yourself and get honest about what's missing. Because until you do that, you can't answer these bigger questions. You'll just keep going in circles. In the next video, I'm going to talk about something that is probably going to hit close to home for a lot of you, because the moment you start asking yourself, oh, should I stay or should I go? The next question for so many is, what about my kids? What do I do when they're in the picture? Isn't it better to stay together for the kids? So the answer might surprise you. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss it. I'll see you there.